Welcome back, students. Today we will be talking about our next chapter in Indian economy, which is 5-year plans in India, the goals and the achievements. Right. So 5-year plans. India, when the India got its independence in 1947, the rulers in India thought of, or the government of India thought of a plan whereby which actually requires a sustainable development, which requires a proper planning, which requires a thinking on the fact whether and which sector is important to India and which sector is of of lesser importance. So we all know that India was primarily an agriculture economy. So in the initial during the initial few years of 5-year planning, the Indian government thought of focusing more on agriculture. Having said that, that it does not mean that they did not focus on the industry, but the focus was primarily on the Indian agriculture, promotion of Indian agriculture, starting of green revolution. Along with this, after a few years, the Indian government started off through the 5-year plans. They started off with the development of industry. Now, the industry was developed in a way that more focus or prime focus remained with the public sector. The importance and the reason was primarily because India got its independence very recently. So Indian people did not have much, and they were poor. So Indian people did not have much money. So that is why they started off with the industrial development in public sector through public sector mode, right? So then the focus started on agriculture. After the agriculture, industry के बाद service sector, education, health, and all the other sectors. So it was a hard task. So before starting for anything else, let us first understand what is economic system. Now, the basic economic system includes, rather than going to economic system, let us first understand the economic planning. So what do we all mean by the word economic planning? Economic planning is actually a process under or through which the government, like a planning commission in India after independence, defines a set of targets that are required to be achieved within that specified period of time, keeping in view the needs of the citizens of the country and taking care of the means that we have to achieve those goals, right? So if I have to define economic planning, I may define it in a way that economic planning means the utilizing of country's resources in different developmental activities uh, in accordance with the national priorities. So the national priorities that I have, or the national priorities that I consider, are the priorities which help me in which help me in actually making the means use in a way that, yes, which are most beneficial to the citizens of the country. Now this was a task which was given to primarily the planning commission, and the chairman of that planning commission was used to be the prime minister. In 2015, the planning commission has been abolished and Niti Aayog has come up. This has been introduced because of the changes in the economic system from 1951 to 2014, right? So economic planning was required because of the India being the new economy, India being the economy where most of its citizens were poor in 1947. So this economic planning was required so that a sustainable development, a development which is with the overall people. So such type of development could take place, right? So that was the major reason why economic planning was made of. Now the basic economic system that requires concentration or requires to discuss was capitalism or the socialism or the mixed economy. These are the three types of economic systems that are prevalent all across the world, right? What is capitalism as such? The capitalism is a sector that helps us in understanding what goods are to be produced, how these goods are to be produced, who will produce these goods, for whom will he produce these goods, and all these things are decided under capitalism through the use of free play of market forces. Only these market forces decide what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce, and how much to produce, right? So which means the government has a very small role and the private sector has more role or more say dominant role than the government sector. The government only supports the private sector, but their prime focus is on governance and not profit making in the business. In kind of a socialist kind of a society, socialist society, the motive of the government is primarily welfare. The state government or the central government tries to find out about the goods that are to be produced, how it is to be produced, who will produce it, and only such type of goods were produced that were of any importance to Indian citizen. In case of mixed economies, both the government sector and the free play of market forces, that is private sector, have an important role to play. Now, in case of the government sector, the government takes care of the most important sectors that led to the welfare of any individual or the society as a whole. But the private sector tries to put in more money in all those sectors that gives them more profits. So the question of what to produce, how to produce, who will produce it, how he will produce it, primarily depends on the government in the welfare sector and in the hands of private individuals when during capitalism, right? Having said that, the capitalism is important, or the principal merit of capitalism is that it promotes the self-interest. It encourages a person or an entrepreneur to invest the money and then seek in the profits. So the pace of economic growth increases in case of capitalism. But the principal demerit is that it ignores the welfare aspect of the society. They only concerned with the making of profits rather than taking care of the poorer sections in the society. The socialism, the principal merit of socialism is collective interest. Socialism focuses on social equality, welfare of the people. They talk of justice for the people, but the principal demerit is there are no choices with the consumers. The consumer never remains sovereign. It does not respect the sovereignty of the consumer. So one has to consume whatever the government offers you to consume, and the quality of the product may be good or may be bad, but you need to consume it with the same quality and maybe at a price which you can get at a price higher than which you can get from private individuals. Similarly, mixed economy is important. It has its principal merits in a way that consumer sovereignty is maintained, consumers' choice is maintained, and the private sector takes the pace of economic growth to newer heights. Our principal demerit is public sector remains a very nominal or small player, and the main economy goes into the hands of the private individuals, the capitalists. Okay, so next to discuss is what is a plan. Plan किसको बोलते हैं हम? So a plan should have some general goals as well as specific goals, which are to be achieved within a specified period of time. In 1950, the Planning Commission was set up with the Prime Minister as its chairperson. It is renamed as Niti Aayog from 2015. Now, planning in the real sense or the term began with the second five-year plan when PC Mahalobanis Lanobis, so Prasant Chandra Mahalanobis started with Indian Statistical Institute. Now, if we have to define the goals, we can divide it into long period goals and the short period goals. What are long period goals and what are short period goals? The long period goals are goals that were made for a longer period of time. The purpose of them was to start the business processes, to start the growth of the economy in some core areas, and then to watch whether it continues or it generates the best possible results as expected or not. The shorter period goals are plan specific goals. For example, they are the basically objective or the purpose of plans. For example, you might have heard about the employment generation schemes. You might have heard about the Swan Jayanti kind of schemes, whereby the agriculture growth or the growth of a particular rural area was started. So these were shorter period goals, but not the longer ones. So what are the goals? What are the objectives of the 5 year plans? The first and the foremost objective with which the 5 year plans were started is the starting of or increasing the pace of growth. It refers to increase in the country's capacity to produce the output of goods and services within the country. किसी भी एक कंट्री में कितनी आउटपुट ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज होती है उसके लिए इट इम्प्लाइज ईदर अ लार्जर स्टॉक ऑफ प्रोडक्टिव कैपिटल और अ लार्जर साइज ऑफ सपोर्टिंग सर्विसेज लाइक ट्रांसपोर्ट एंड बैंकिंग. सो किसी भी इंडिकेटर ऑफ इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ इज स्टडी इंक्रीज इन इट्स जीडीपी. उसकी जो ग्रॉस डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्ट है, you might know what is gross domestic product. I have already explained in my another video. So for the reference, gross domestic product means the goods and services that are produced, the value of those goods and services that are produced within the boundaries of the country. The GDP is the market value of all goods and services produced in the country during a particular year. Now, the GDP of a country is derived from various sectors of the economy, like the agriculture sector, the industrial sector, or the service sector. What do we define? How do we define the GDP? Why GDP is important? Now, for calculating GDP, we further go deep in calculating the per capita GDP. What is per capita GDP? जो भी हम गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज बनाते हैं वो हर एक इंडिविजुअल को अगर हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करने लगे तो कितने कितने गुड्स आएंगे. सो द फॉर्मूला फॉर कैलकुलेटिंग पर कैपिटा जीडीपी इज जीडीपी divided by population size. So increase in GDP becomes the most important factor or objective for any 5 year plan. The per capita availability of goods and services must increase. It implies an increase in standard of living of the people for a longer period of time. Increase in GDP can be based on few factors. One of the factors is increasing in the resource base of the country, and the second and important factor is increase in the productivity, that is output per unit of input. So these are the factors, the basis of which the GDP is calculated. Next is modernization. Now, modernization is very important for any economy these days. The consumer has become more choosy. The consumer wants more technology or new technological products. They do not want to use the products that are outdated or which do not give them the utility that for or the it does not serve the purpose with for which they have purchased the product. So to increase the production of goods and services, the producers have to adopt the new technology. The modernization does not refer only to the use of new technology, but also to changes in the outlook of people. That is, recognition of women should have the same rights as men. A modern society makes use of talent of women in the workplace, even in banks, in factories, or in schools. So, modernization in the context of goals of plan in India has an important social angle. So, modernization of social outlook is equally important, right? Next is self-reliance. Now, during or even immediate after independence, India was a country that even used to import the wheat, which most of Indians eat. They use it for eating, for filling their stomach, right? So we were not self-reliant. So the first and the foremost objective, or the most important objective, was to become the India or to make the India self-reliant. India is a nation that can promote the economic growth and modernization by using its own resources or by using the resources that are imported from other nations. The first 7 5 year plans gave importance to self reliance which means avoiding the import of goods which could be produced in India itself. We call this as import substitution. Next is equity. Now, what is equity? Equity means equitable distribution of resources to equity for the general public. Every Indian should be able to meet his or her basic needs such as food, a decent house, education, and healthcare. Inequality in the distribution of wealth must be reduced, and it is important to ensure that the benefits of economic prosperity reach even to the poorer section of the society. So, this is how equitable distribution of resources help us. India is a country which is called as a country with great economic divide. India has the people who are one of the richest in the world, and they have the maximum poorest population for any country. So we need to consider the growth and the development and the 5-year goals or economic planning or 5-year planning towards the growth and development of all the sectors in the economy. The next and the most important objective for these 5-year plans or long-term goals were the full employment levels. Now, the levels of full employment were not in existent in India during the times of independence. India, being a poorer country, needed to feed its people. The people were unemployed. Because they were unemployed, they were not able to generate the wealth, they remained as poor. So India had to make such plans or such policies whereby they are able to generate their employment and earn their livelihood for a longer period of time, right? So there were the economic features of economic policy that were pursued till 1991. So what were those features that were pursued till 1991? So if I write it here, features of economic policy pursued till 1991. So, what were these features? What did they say about the features of these economic policies till 1991? So, the first and the foremost feature was reliance on public sector. Reliance on public sector. So, सबसे ज़्यादा हम public sector पे dependent थे at the time of independence. There were two reasons for this. One of the reasons was most of the Indian people were poor and were not having capital. Secondly, Indian government wanted to keep the economy for welfare of all, right? So they tried to promote the public sector. Had this been gone to the private hands, so probably monopolistic activities would have taken place. The regulated development of private sector. So regulated development of private sector. What do we mean by regulated development of private sector? The regulated development of private sector simply means that we never wanted the private sector to outgrow. Because if the private sector outgrows, then probably it is at the cost of the individuals who are not able to produce or who are not able to earn much for their livelihood. So the Monopolistic and Restricted Trade Practices Act 1969 was established. The act talked about the creation of monopolies, and the government tried to stop the creation of monopolies with the help of this act. The next point was protection of small scale industries. Now, since the Indian agriculture were Indian manufacturers were not using the technology, the Indian manufacturers were not having much capital even. So, to protect them from the foreign competition, they tried to impose the restrictions on import of most of the goods. We call them import substitution. So, not having capital and cannot buy the technology. So these were the prime reasons why the Indian industry was primarily protected. The small scale Indian industry was primarily protected. The next and the most important factor that describes the features of economic policy before 91 is development of heavy industry of strategic development of heavy industry of strategic importance. Strategic importance. Why? Because they used to give us full employment and I can say capital formation. It helps us in capital formation. जो ये चीजें बनाते थे, जो भी इंडस्ट्रीज वाले बनाते थे, the cost of they were sold at a higher prices. So capital investment, capital formation अच्छा खासा हो जाता था. Then saving and investing. People were encouraged to save more. The more they save, the more would be given as loans and in turn would be invested in the economy. Foreign competition. Indian entrepreneurs, the small scale entrepreneurs were protected from the foreign competition because the foreigners were using the technology a lot. So because of the use in technology, these entrepreneurs, by the use in technology, these foreign entrepreneurs or foreign competitors might sell their products at a cheaper prices and with a better quality. So to avoid the Indian entrepreneurs from facing any competition from abroad, the industry was protected to a larger extent. Restriction on foreign capitals. To avoid the competition, the foreign capital was also not seeking for much period after independence, for many years after independence. And centralized planning. So the focus was primarily on centralized planning, as was discussed earlier as well, that centralized planning was the prime motive because the public was poor and the government's motive was to provide the welfare to most of these people. Had the welfare not been given to everyone, then probably it would have been difficult for anyone to survive. Um, uh, were the next topic that we are talking about, that we are going to talk about, is achievements of economic planning. Was the planning achieved whatever it was thought of? So growth of national income. The planning was able to achieve the growth in national income. When the Britishers left India, yani कि before the advent of 5-year plans, we were at, I can say, in the first plan, we were at 4.6% growth every year on year. In 12th plan, we grew at 8% year on year. So yes, we were able to achieve through economic planning. However, the achievements were not the level that was expected. Increase in per capita. Did our per capita also increased? It did increase, yes, but it was not. It could not increase to a larger extent. The growth rate was 2% in first plan, and it increased to 6%. It increased to 6% in 11th plan. So yes, the per capita income was increased, but the growth rate was it needed to be more. Rate of capital formation. Rate of capital formation. Now, in 1950, uh, uh, we were forming around 10% capital. It increased to 33.2% in 2015 16. So we increased the capital formation to a greater extent. The next is the institutional or technical changes that happened in agriculture. Institutional and technical change in एग्रीकल्चर. अब इंस्टीट्यूशनल एंड टेक्निकल चेंज इन एग्रीकल्चर का मतलब क्या है? इंस्टीट्यूशनल चेंज क्या होती है? इंस्टीट्यूशनल चेंज इंक्लूड्स द एबॉलिशन ऑफ intermediaries. Yes, the government started abolishing the intermediaries. Rather, government started buying direct from the farmers. The modernization or technological modernization, we can say. So modernization was also started happening. The farmers were started using the high yield variety seeds, right? And the modern methods of technology. Sealing on land holdings to stop the exploitation of farmers, right? These were few factors that led to green revolution. It led to green revolution. What about the industry? Was it only agriculture, or it was industry also that could develop? So during, we all understand that during independence we were only at 10% of the total economy size in the industry within India. So Indian economy has ranked the 10th largest industrial economy in the world. During the period of planning, growth rate of industrial production has been around 7%. So we were growing at 7% during these planning years. In the 11th plan, the industrial production was 7.2%. The 12th production 5-year plan, in 12th 5-year plan, we grew at 7.6% per annum. Are all these factors sufficient, or do we need something more? We need to develop the economic infrastructure. So what do we mean by economic infrastructure? Economic infrastructure means the transport not only by land or by rails, maybe by water, by air, or some other means, in case possible. Banking facilities, insurance, communication. So we have grown in all these fields. Rather, we have grown in software industry a lot, and we have become the pioneers in software production. Though the growth of electricity was quite less, but still, yes, we grow in these economic infrastructure sectors or places. Social infra. Social infrastructure. What do we mean by social infrastructure? Social infrastructure we mean by is we are talking about the health or educational facilities. Now, with respect to the health and educational facilities, we were only 16-17% of education during independence or immediately after independence. And we were at, in the 12th five-year plan, we were at 77% of agriculture. The life expectancy has also increased from 32 to 67 years, 67.5 years in 2015. So yes, we have grown a lot in health and educational facility sectors. The next and the important factor that determines the Indian economy is employment. Now, earlier people used to be called as employed, though they were a kind of disguised employed into agriculture. These days, people have started moving to urban areas where they get better jobs with better amenities. They get higher salaries and they are improving. They are contributing in improvement of GDP, Indian GDP. What is the situation in international trade? Now, we are may not be a dominant player, but yes, we are a player in international trade. There are few trades in which we are the pioneers. Having said that, few trades certainly we are may not be number one, but yes, international trade, India has grown in 1948-49 from 792 crores to 2015-16 at 42 lakh 6,680 crores. So yes, we have certainly grown a lot in international trade, right? These were all the achievements of economic planning. Can we say that economic planning has achieved everything it was required to? No. Then we need to discuss about the failures of economic planning. Now, what are the failures of economic planning? Economic planning, the purpose of economic planning was primarily the growth of Indians, the growth of Indian infrastructure, the growth of Indian international trade, the growth of GDP, increase in GDP and per capita. Did it able to achieve everything? No, it did not. The first and the foremost point is poverty. Though India was 70% poor in 1947, and we have a 30% population of poors in 2015 era. But the criteria that is given by the criteria that is required for a healthy person is 2,508 calories of food per day. In India, per capita availability of food provides only 2,400 calories. So in India, 22% of the population still lives below the poverty line. These are those people who are not getting the basic amenities of life, including the food, shelter, and clothing. So what is happening is 2,508 calories are required. They are not getting, right? So I can say around 22.5% of people are poor. Means they are not getting 2,508 calories that are required to get every day for any individual, but they are not getting it. Inflation. Though India is developing at 7%, 8%, 6% during these 5-year plans, but the rate of inflation was also very high. The rate of inflation kept on increasing every year, which led to less impact, positive impact on the individuals. We are talking of employment. Now, unemployment is still prevalent to a larger extent. At the end of first plan, 53 lakh persons were unemployed. Their number rose to 4 crore at the end of 11th plan. In the last 20 years, the employment opportunities have already risen by over 2%. but the supply of labor has increased by over 2.5%. So thereby, the rate of growth in employment could not be so high as was in the increase in the working force. Infrastructure. Infrastructure. Now, we can boast of having one of the largest number of schools, colleges, hospitals for within our country, but they are not sufficient to serve the population that is in existence in India, right? Despite so many years of the economic planning, India was not able to have the number of schools, hospitals, colleges, bridges, dams, roads as is required for the increased population. Next is squeed distribution. What do we mean by this word squeed distribution? Squeed distribution का मतलब है झुका हुआ है. So economic and social inequality exists in India. There you will find Indians as one of the richest in the world and Indians as maybe one of the poorest in the world. At least they have the largest number of poorers in the world because of its increased population. The rate of population is still increasing. So because of this, the growth or the GDP increase that we are making is not able to give the positive impact to the people. Okay, so this is all about the 5-year plans that exist in India, the goals and its achievements. Now, for understanding or maybe the crux of 5-year plans were, as was told to you in the start of the lecture, that during the initial years of India's independence, the 5-year plans were basically molded for agriculture increase, for the increase in agriculture, because we had the maximum number of people employed in agriculture and the GDP growth was the percentage of GDP contribution by agriculture was much more than by industry or by tertiary or service sector, right? So focus was on agriculture, but from second or third 5-year plans, the focus primarily remained on agriculture, but allied focus started shifting towards the infrastructure. That is why the growth of industries that help in building the strong capital for India, building the strong network for India, and giving more employment opportunities has started off, right? So we need to understand all these factors. We need to understand the basic concept of Indian economy from 1950 to 1991 and to then 1991 to 2017 to understand the 5-year plans. 5-year plans was the first good thing started to improve the Indian economy. Okay. If in case you have any other questions, please write to me in the chat. I'll revert for your questions. Thank you very much. Have a good day.